respect the sea, double it.
Misschien gaan we er nog wel mee zeilen.
This is the master bedroom, because we don't fit in the nose of the boat.
Ga je lekker, schatje?
Ja, heerlijk. Makkelijk. Altijd al willen doen.
Oh, je hebt die ballen ook eigenlijk schoongekregen.
Ja, die ballen gaan ook eigenlijk zo.
Ongelooflijk, ons oude baasje. We starten lopen. De laatste dingetjes nog even goed. Ja, nee, je kan nog geen gas geven, hè? Dan doet hij het weer.
Daar word je blij van, hè?
Zo lief dat je hem hebt schoongemaakt. Dat gaat helemaal niet goed met deze boot.
For the sails, it's no big deal if we do a bit later. Same for the electronics, but yes, the mast we need to know pretty soon.
And what about performance? What is the difference between a rotating mast and a non-rotating mast?
It's a tough question. It's of course it's increased performance, especially when you're going upwind, maybe until 130, 140 degrees, I'd say, because you have a better airflow on the main. It's quite marginal, the difference. You will increase maybe the performance by 5%, but in your case, it's not something you want to take into consideration because you're not racers. You're not going to use a rotating mast for that purpose.
I had a small discussion with Mark last week because I was thinking about it, and already from the beginning I was a little bit against it.
Mm-hmm.
But he really wanted to have it, so I was like, okay, don't say anything. But then last week I said, Mark, you really have to reconsider, and I can tell you the reasons why I'm not sure whether I want it or not.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the reasons is I want a clean deck.
Of course, you have less line on the deck, that's for sure. But the lines of the rotating mast are not long because the mast only rotates 30 degrees one direction, 30 degrees the other. So there's not very long lines in the cockpit. It's quite short because you need to move that by maybe a meter maximum. So it's just two lines. These two lines are on starboard helm station, so it's not on the main one. So it's not going to be any more mess on that side.
Oh yeah.
Also, if you want to do it easy, you leave the clutches open all the time, and the mast will put itself into the right direction, in the wind direction.
I'm afraid of chafing and damage to maybe electronic cables or whatever when you move the mast. In general, I just feel way more comfortable when the mast is fixed on the boat. And because we are not racers, we are cruisers. We like to sail fast, but it's not about the last half knot or whatever. That's the reason why I'm in doubt. And the only reason I know why Mark wants to have it is because he wants to be able to
reef downwind.
Reef downwind, yeah. Is it going to be a real problem to reef downwind or not?
Well, you're gonna have bulwark roller cars on the older track of the mainsail, so it's going to be very easy to pull the mainsail down. Furthermore, there's also included in the sail a downhaul line to put it down more easily in case it was a bit harder to bring down. It's true that with a fixed mast, you need to go more upwind than with a rotating mast, where you just put the mast in the wind angle, so it's more easy to put it down.
Like at the moment, we could reef like not downwind, but we always turn the boat like beam reach.
Yeah, on a close hole. Oh, beam reach. Yeah.
Beam reach, and then we could reef.
And you open the main a lot.
Open the main totally, and went beam reach, and then we could reef.
Yeah. I think it should work as well, especially with the ball roller cars. There should be very little friction.
One of the arguments Marijke has is that just gut feeling, when the mast is rotating, it isn't as fixed as much to the boat as with a non-rotating mast.
It's just a stupid feeling. I know it is.
It's exactly the same, because when it's fixed, it's just. It's not screwed or bolted, it's just the mast is sat on a piece of metal like this, and that's it. And for the rotating mast, it's just that it's not a rectangular piece, it's actually a ball, and it's on the ball, because the ball allows rotation, while of course the rectangle doesn't allow any movement. But it's a very similar process. There's no risk that the mast moves on the bottom. The compression is so strong at this location.
No, I'm not so scared about the movement on the bottom, but just all the movement of that mast with the stays and all the electronics and all the lines that go in.
Because like, there couldn't be any chafing on the electronics, because the bottom of the mast is on a ball like this, but the electronic cables they go from the fixed part to there's like a gooseneck that allows the electronics to go inside the boat, and there's enough length for the mast to rotate, so it cannot create any chafing on the electronics. So the only one thing you will need to do is, on the top of the shrouds, the mast is connected. In case of a rotating mast, it's connected thanks to lashings, and these lashings need to be changed every 2 years. While on a fixed mast, you have a hard connection that you don't need to change. Maybe you need to change that every 7 or 10 years.
Know enough?
Do you know enough? Because this is your decision.
What's your feeling, Marijke?
Yeah, you made me a little bit less discomfortable about the moving parts, etc. Because that was the one of the arguments that kept me awake last week. So that's not I don't think that will be a big issue. What is your opinion? You know us, you know what kind of sailors we are. What is your opinion in our case? What would you do?
The biggest benefit in your case, it's not performance, it's definitely the ability to reef downwind.
Yeah.
The complexity of the mast, to me, it's not so important. As if you want to play it easy, you just leave it open all the time, and it will just stay in the wind direction.
You can also leave it closed all the time.
Or you can leave it closed in the center, if you prefer.
Then you have less chafing.
But the chafing only happens when you're downwind.
There will be a lot downwind.
Benjamin says if you're going downwind, it doesn't have a lot of benefit, so you leave it in the middle.
In the middle, yeah.
Only one thing: when you're downwind, you will have the sail in that direction, the mast in the same. The halyard on the mast will go the other direction, so you will have a 90 degrees angle between the mast direction and the halyard. The block on the top of the mast. So this can create chafing on the halyard. So when you're going downwind, it's better to put the mast in the center to prevent chafing. Then it's more a money consideration. It's about I think 16 or something like that, 1,000 euros additional. So then it's more your decision if you want to spend that money to be able to reef downwind.
Yeah, it's 14,000 for the rotating mast, and then it's 7,500 for the H5000. If there's not a big difference between the NAC 3 and the H5000, then it's a lot of money to reef downwind a couple of times a year.
Oh, okay. One more thing about the rotating mast. If the mast is rotating, you will need to take the reefs at the mast.
You can't reef from the cockpit.
No.
And with a fixed mast you can.
Yeah, because if you do that, then you can't rotate the mast anymore.
Okay.
Now the decision is made, I think.
Yeah.
This was the argument.
So that's a fixed mast, if I understand correctly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, fixed mast. The system already provided in the standard package is already very powerful.
Yeah, we know it, and it was really good.
I mean, it's mandatory to go on an H5000 in case of a rotating mast, but on a fixed mast, then you have the option if you want to upgrade or not. But telling you why you would have to upgrade or not, the benefits and cons of that, I wouldn't be able to tell you that. For this question, I will let Didier answer.
On the normal Triton 2 displays, you don't have feedback, and on the H5000 you have.
The H5000 is faster in calculating, so you will have more accurate data, more precise and more quick data.
Will you notice it on the steering of the autopilot as well, or is it not noticeable?
Maybe that's a question for Didier. I'm not sure you will notice a difference.
What did you decide on the second autopilot, Mark? Because we haven't.
Well, we haven't decided because we haven't got a quotation yet.
Oh yeah, one of the people on YouTube. He said, go for the Ray Marine, that is totally independent and totally redundant. He has a point.
But in essence, he has a point that if you have to put another calculator in and it goes wrong, then of course, first question is, will you know exactly where the problem is going to be?
Yeah.
And the second one is that you might have to recalibrate the autopilot out there at sea.
Yes, Didier is very confident about this. This Ray Marine autopilot is used on. I'm not sure about the percentage of our boats, but many owners that take this second pilot. It's not a good idea to have two complete hydraulic pilots, otherwise steering can be harder, and you don't want that. So that's a solution many owners choose. So depending on where the switch is, whether it's on the main or this emergency autopilot, you can only, of course, use one at a time, but you can just it's just a switch to pass from one to the other.
Yeah.
And you're going to the south of the Netherlands today?
It's not that far in the Netherlands, of course.
Yeah, that's why I was every Netherlands. You go everywhere in 1 hour drive.
And we
Yeah,
live exactly in the middle, so we can go everywhere.
I think well, within 2 hours we can get in every corner.
Okay.
Merci beaucoup.
Avec plaisir. The next time you're coming to La Grande Motte is for Outremer week.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
I'll go in the yard tomorrow morning and take more pictures of the
Oh, that would be great.
boat.
Yeah, that would be great.
Thank you. See you again.
Welcome.
Thank you for your advice.
Thank
We zijn hier bij Telstar Surf.